Okay, hello from a very, very cold Japan. It is the coldest few days of the year after Weatherman says 2 weeks ago that we're going to come into an early spring. Okay, thanks, bruh. We got some Tanchjim today. We got the Stargate 2, which I just checked the internet, and there's really not much out there about this. This is also obviously the follow-up to Stargate 1. And this is the Zero Ultima, which is a follow-up to the Zero. And then we have the Origin, which I already have, and I just checked my unboxing channel, which you are watching right now, already has an unboxing for the Origin, but they sent this because maybe I didn't do a main channel video for it. I'd have to go double check and confirm. Let's open these both up real quick. Now, the Zero Ultima is interesting because it's being advertised as a 3.5 or DSP version, and I was a huge fan of it looked just like this. It was either the 1 or the 0 that was DSP version. I absolutely loved it. It was like $15 or something, and I totally hyped it up. Loved it. Maybe they saw that video and thought he probably liked this. But this doesn't have the DSP, but that's maybe where this comes in, but I'm not 100% sure. So take this out, and it looks it's got tips on the inside, maybe wide and narrow bore with a cover. Let me go ahead and go through the motions for you. You got those tips. You've got these tips. Those do look narrow bore, and these do definitely look wide bore. Just for an example, a lot of times you really can't tell. There you see that, and then you see that, so there's clearly wide bore tips and clearly narrow bore tips. You've got your manual and then your Tanchjim pouch. Then inside that, you've got the set, which to me looks virtually identical to the previous one. But they're saying that it's different. The cable they said is upgraded. I gotta go look at that one, but it looks the same. Maybe it's the left-right, and it was just the single round one. I think that might be the difference. A really thin, just one of these, where these are side by side now, left and right. It's got an inline mic, I believe, and maybe play and pause type of things. Like, I don't use the inline stuff, but I think this might have controllers on it, or simply a mic. I'm not sure. It's got a DMT, I think, driver they're calling it, or DMT4. So again, this is a set that is being advertised as having a 3.5 or a DSP. And this guy right here would really love a DSP version. Now, what they might have done, I'm imagining, is sent this because this essentially turns that into a DSP or any 3.5, including the Origin. You could apply DSPs. Now, here's the thing. I'm redoing this video because I made a couple errors. In the first video I said I'm not sure if it works with the iPhone. I have a 16 Pro Max. This is USB-C. I played pink noise because I was going to try to measure it, and I did get noise from it to do the pink noise, the measurement. But when I tried to download the Tanchjim app, and it was 1 star, and I thought, wow, that's too bad, but I'll go for it, and I downloaded it. I couldn't get the Tanchjim app to recognize the Stargate 2. Or really anything. Like that this was connected. I couldn't get the Tanchjim app working. But that's probably that app's not that great because 1 star, I mean, you know, and I got it from the Apple Store. So if there's an alternative like Moondrop works with Tanchjim, go ahead and mention that below and remind me to pin it so I can let people know. So I believe this did play out the bottom. It played pink noise, not music. Because I was trying to measure what the difference was with this on it and this. But I started using the app and it wasn't really doing anything for me, so I didn't complete that process. Now this is the Stargate 2, and let me go ahead and open this up. And this has, you can see the little chip inside, and this one has the CS43131 decoding chip, which is, I get what is in that window right there, which is a pretty cool way to show it. And then this looks like fake, and then you've actually got it back here, and then there's nothing behind here. So I might be wrong, but I think instead of sending HBB the DSP version of the Ultima, just send him the regular one plus this, which turns it into DSP, and he can maybe give opinions on both of these items, because this turns this into a DSP. Because the way that they're describing buying this is that there's 2 versions, one like this, one with DSP, which would be, this would be inline, part of the main cable. And again, I did play this to measure the squig, but I don't think I put that up. Or I put it up, but I didn't put this version. But I did get noise out of it. But when I went to use the app to see if there was like, to confirm that it was being recognized and there was no EQ settings or nothing going on before I did the measurement, I got stuck at the point where the app wouldn't recognize the Stargate. Now again, that's the Tanchjim app, and I don't know that many people use Tanchjim's app, but they might use the Moondrop. So again, confirmation for that. So I'll do a video. I think Linsoul is going to have the Stargate 2 and the 0, so I'll go ahead and link to them, and maybe I'll put the origin in a video. I like Tanchjim's stuff. I think it's sometimes overpriced, but they are one of the companies that actually puts money into drivers. Instead of just pulling stuff off the shelf, and when you open it up and look at it, you say, "Man, that was in a $50 set 3 years ago." They don't do that. They have like the latest stuff usually, even in their budget. So Tanchjim's a really good company. And just a reminder for people, somebody literally today was on. I'm not going to get into what it says, but somebody was questioning the whole, I don't know why this person's talking about branded drivers. And their argument was, brand doesn't really matter. It's not the biggest contributor. Sound quality. Yeah, sound quality? Absolutely, yes, it does. How it's implemented, the tuning, you like that or not, that's not related. But sound quality is performance. It's directly related to the materials, the construction of, and again, CPU, GPU, panels, DACs, all of these things being done well and done right makes it perform. And if it's done really well, it's high performance. And then you'd have to trust the consumer to understand it. Not everybody's smooth brain. How unhelpful marketing and YouTubers, apparently, that's me, can be. People generally have a really poor understanding of the meaning and importance of things like CPU models, cores, teraflops, retina displays, driver counts. Some brands are moving away from this for that reason. That means that consumers don't understand what's going on, so it's troublesome for the companies because consumers don't understand how a GPU actually works. So why share what's going on with it? Why talk about the layouts of circuit boards when most people, let's say 0.5% of the population actually understands what an audio board and its layout is indicating? Where the rails are and where the traces are for the CPU, and if something's crossing something else. But they do share that stuff because it does matter, and transparency is important for the hobby because that's the way it's supposed to be for all consumers. Automobiles, stuff that goes in your computer, stuff that goes in your living room, stuff that you take care of your child with, like humidifiers. All of these things should be compared. They should all be opened and explored and understood. Transparency is important. Arguing against that because of smooth-brained people, and that's the reason that people can't and shouldn't do transparency, lost me. I won't even reply anymore to that kind of stuff because that's crazy. Customers don't understand, so don't try to teach. That's why don't be transparent. Let me tell you again, if 5 years ago, Chi-Fi had started saying we're going to start to do what Knowles does. We're going to have series, we're going to have numbers, we're going to start to put these into drivers. And what that would mean that sets that are 4 years old that you love a lot, you could say, I know that. And then we have several sets that have come along because it's Chi-Fi since the first time you heard that set and thought those drivers are good, and these are what those drivers are. The CRX-1143B indicating low frequency or whatever, for example. Then you would know what that is, like a series of Knowles that you've heard in something or a series of Sonyans. If you want to be an alternative option, then act like your rivals in the space, and they do share the white papers and the information, and it is all transparent. If you want to be like that, then be like that. Excusing companies because of customers' potential or lack of potential with understanding is not an excuse for disclosure from a company. That's absolutely ridiculous. I'm not going to cut this out of the end of this video. Don't defend companies. Companies don't care about you. Companies don't care about me. They want me to hope that I like something, and if I don't, then that's why some companies don't. You don't see the latest Moondrop on my table, despite me having said many Moondrops are good. Why not? They don't know what I'm going to say. I might say something really not good, and that might hurt their sales, so they're not going to send me the Meteor. That's like a lot of other companies. Linsoul sends me stuff, and they don't know what I'm going to say either. Maybe that's why the Valhalla came 6 weeks after it actually hit the market. I actually love it, but they don't know what I'm going to say. The Oracle 2 came out and I stepped on it and that thing went into a reboot. That stuff happens. Better safe than sorry. If we don't know what somebody's going to say or they have the power to maybe redirect this whole wave, how about we just send it to certain people, do it in a proxy pre-order, and hope we get a lot of orders before some, like, I paid for this thing and I'm not happy, stuff comes rolling in. Come on now. I've done over 20 collabs. I know what they want and what they're scared of. And please don't defend them talking about transparency. That's unacceptable everywhere that you purchase things in your life. I would hope so. I would hope the gears that you purchase that have failure points, I mean everything, you should be checking out how other people thought about it in videos or on reviews. This is a crazy discussion, actually. 2025, man. The internet, like everybody's growing up with the internet. You automatically go and check how stuff is. I'm entertainment relative to actual objective data. That's my level. I'm talking about I like a bass guitar, I like this or I don't like that. How valuable is that? You can decide that. You let me know if talking about Bonham's kick drum constantly is a good thing or a bad thing. You can decide that. That's up to you. I'm not on the level of this thing contains that and this is the white paper for that and this was measured by that. Objective data trumps subjective data all the time. These are pieces of art to be appreciated or not appreciated, to be essentially the same thing in $250 form as in $2,900 form, almost identical in its what it has inside it. And the difference is in your head. This is art. Some people can appreciate it. Some people can't appreciate it because they literally think this doesn't sound any better than my $250 set. How can they possibly ask $2,900? And then other people are on forums saying, listen, if you're going to come in here and just spout hate, maybe you should go. Maybe this isn't the play for you. That's not spouting hate. That's I bought something and I'm not really kind of feeling what everybody in this community is saying as far as this is like, oh my God, brought tears to my eyes, et cetera, et cetera. Like the meme with the HE1. Have you ever heard that set? The one with the thumbnails where people are crying? Like there's like 4 thumbnails for that Sennheiser that's 55,000. It used to be that much. Have you ever heard that set? I have. So when I see those thumbnails, I think, Jesus, wow. If you take the most expensive gears that the smallest amount of people can ever get access to and you put it at the highest throne, it's very likely to not be challenged because who's going to challenge it? Other people within the community? People that go out to dinner with each other at can jams? Are they going to try to take down something? Average Joe P. Public can't afford $50,000 headphones or $6,000 earphones. So they put this stuff up there and it can't be touched. It can hardly be critiqued. And then if you say you sat down and listened to it, people can say, you know what, that's cool and everything, but that's not quite the same to sit down and have 15 minutes or 30 minutes or take it home and then say, I paid for this for $50,000. And yeah, so your opinion is based on a sit down and appreciate you piping in. Welcome to the club, but it's a superstar. And that's the way we all see it. Like that gets used a lot too. This isn't really a community, it's kind of a cult. I'm sorry, Tanchjim. I just kind of went into this because I woke up this morning with somebody defending transparency and using the customer's lack of understanding as the reason why you don't need to be transparent. How many of you out there understand how a GPU actually works? How many of you understand how a CPU works? How many understand how RAM works? How many of you understand which of those 3 I just mentioned is most likely to be a bottleneck in an average system? If you buy stuff off the shelf that is rated as being quote-unquote good or mid-tier, which one is most likely to be the one that bottlenecks the performance when you're playing a highly intensive game? Would it necessarily be the graphics card because it's leaning on the graphics card? Not necessarily. But you can still find out all the things you need to know about all three of those peripherals that I just told you about, because that's your basic right as a consumer. And nobody out there is going to stand up seriously and tell you you should buy this or the other. And I don't get into benchmarks because that's not my thing. Like a reviewer saying, I don't do frequency responses because that's whatever they're, denying, flat earther kind of stuff that is. You take all the info and you share it with the public, and then the public consumes everything and they give you the feedback. The feedback is literally the return of the input. That's what feedback means. You can't give back feedback without getting the input. It's the return of the input. What is all of this stuff that is inside of here? I think I like it. I think it's good. I think something sounds different from the other one. Oh, and the guy comes in and says, well, bro, they're the same thing except for item A, the op amps or something. So we must be talking about the op amps. Or these tube amps are essentially the same. You're saying it sounds like this, and the other guy's saying it sounds like that. And the only variable between the two of them is the actual tubes that you're using. And by the way, did you know? And then go into this explanation. All of these discussions online are based on knowledge and information. And one of the keys to that knowledge and information is the stuff that the companies provide. And that's basic. Excusing earphone companies for not being transparent about the drivers that they use that's against the open discussion, free information idea. And if you're going to say that people are smooth-brained and can't get it, man, that's the world we live in. And there's a lot of us that actually can kind of get it. Some of us are really, really smart. Like really, really like high genius IQ. You wouldn't believe some of us who are actually like that. And then there's people that are that, plus they're autistic, and they look at these discussions and think, well, who am I talking to? Am I talking to a person that owns a company? Because unless you are financially vested into a discussion like this, why would you ever deny the public the freedom to know what they pay the money for? I don't understand. I'm going to leave this rant up. I wonder how many people are going to get through it. If you made it all the way to the end, give me your favorite color in the comments so I know you made it. And then when I pick somebody to get the origin, because somebody in this video, I'll make sure that they said the color. Because, come on, you got to watch the whole video. And I am out.